Welcome to the WRAL Daily Download. I'm Grace Holland. In just 1 week, the United States logged 4 so-called 1 in 1,000 year floods. The deadliest hit central Texas, killing more than 120 people. Wherever extreme weather strikes, social media lights up with theories about secret weather control programs. Some even made it to Congress. Today we're asking, is anyone actually engineering these storms? WRAL climate reporter Liz McLaughlin has been sorting fact from fiction and joins us now. Liz, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so let's set the scene here. This conspiracy theory of cloud seeding, why is it suddenly dominating my feed?
So it's the latest version of the kind of conspiracy roundtable. Really happened right after the floods in Texas. And, cloud seeding is a real thing. It's not a conspiracy theory, but there's a lot of confusion around it. And the Texas flood happened just days after a private company called Rainmaker ran a 20-minute cloud seeding flight nearby. And TikTok creators and people on X kind of latched onto that flight log and said, there's your culprit, And this claim got boosted when Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's said this before, but resurfaced those claims that an unspecified they are controlling the weather. But the numbers really don't add up. Here's what Rainmaker's CEO had to say.
We're talking about sub-centimeter amounts of precipitation, be it in snow or rain from every event, which in aggregate can mean hundreds of acre feet, which is very consequential for farmers and ecosystems, but cannot come close to causing flooding unto itself.
And those flights were actually 2 days before the storm and outside of the flood zone. And really, this operation, it's going to be something pretty instant and very, very tight located area. It's not something that could drift off into another county per se.
Okay. So what exactly is cloud seeding? How does it work?
Pilots release these tiny, smaller than a grain of sand, silver iodide particles into cold clouds. Only certain clouds are can be part of this. And the particles act kind of like ice nuclei, really helping droplets form. So think of it kind of like as nudging a reluctant cloud, not creating a storm from scratch. You're really encouraging some rain to fall instead of making a whole weather system. I asked Dr. Gary Lackman, who's modeled extreme storms for about 25 years at NC State, whether cloud seeding could actually supercharge a flood. Here's what he had to say.
There are ways that you can influence the weather, but you can't control weather systems. You can't make a flood here or a drought there. That's not possible. Not with today's technology.
Sea surface temperatures off the Carolina coast, and really if you look at global sea surface temperatures, it's even higher. But here they're running 3 to 4 degrees Celsius above normal. So that is a lot. It's 9 degrees in some area. And warmer water really loads the atmosphere with water vapor. That's what Lackman calls weather fuel.
Okay, let's take a quick break right there and we'll be right back. Liz, we've still had plenty of people who've written in worried about spraying chemicals. What exactly is it that they're missing here?
I think it actually is healthy to have skepticism of, chemistry that we don't know what will happen. And a lot of these conspiracy theorists have pointed to different patents and things, weather modification experiments maybe that have failed. I think it is healthy to kind of question, does this work? Should we be doing this? Should we be spraying chemicals in the air? That sort of thing. Should we mess with our ecosystem? But there's an assumption happening, and this is what I think is dangerous, that it's happening on a large scale and with some sort of nefarious aim, right? And many don't realize the scale. We're really talking about fractions of an inch of rain over a few square miles. Nothing like the deluge we saw even here, where in Chatham County, over a foot of rain fell in 24 hours. Meanwhile, greenhouse gas pollution has warmed the planet about 2 degrees Fahrenheit. And there's a lot of evidence for that. Warmer air can hold about 7% more moisture in the atmosphere per degree Celsius. And that's physics from the 1820s, more than 100 years old. That's widely accepted in the scientific community. Even so, lawmakers are reacting. North Carolina Representative Jonathan Almond introduced House Bill 362 to ban geoengineering statewide.
We need to put a pause on any type of program that's being run right now until we have a better understanding of why we're having these, 100-year weather incidences, so frequently these days.
With that in mind, that this is coming up in our state legislature, are there any cloud seeding programs running in North Carolina?
No, there's not. NOAA's Weather Modification Project reports lists 0 past or present projects here. The only thing on paper I could find is a 2018 feasibility study for the Yadkin River Basin, and it actually never launched. And so, this is really, Almond called it guardrails. Just let's not have that. Let's not have any spraying chemicals in our state. But there's kind of some problems there because it makes it seem like there is a problem that he's fixing. And when I spoke to scientists about this, they said, okay, it's maybe not impossible that there's some super secret weather program, but it's about as likely. It's also not impossible that the Loch Ness Monster exists, but it is very, very unlikely.
Right. And with that in mind, 30 states are still looking at bans, right?
Exactly. Mostly, again, precautionary. And really, some scientists are just calling these bans solutions in search of a problem, especially when we still need independent research to see whether seeding really works at all. There's not really research to show the efficacy of this. And a few experts even kind of called those commercial pitches for cloud seeding, as snake oil salesmen for desperate farmers who are suffering from a drought and don't want to see their crops, them lose a whole crop. So really, burning fossil fuels is the largest weather experiment in human history. It's warming oceans, it's juicing storms, it's extending hurricane season. So yes, ask questions about any chemical in the sky. But if you want to know who's really changing the weather the most, look at our tailpipes and our smokestacks.
Important perspective there, Liz. Thank you for clarifying what's science and what's speculation.
Anytime.
That's today's WRAL Daily Download. For links to the new EPA fact sheet on geoengineering and Liz's full report, you can visit WRAL.com and you can subscribe so you never miss an episode. Thank you for listening to the WRAL Daily Download and for making us part of your morning routine. Another great way to get WRAL news is the Morning Briefing newsletter. That's a daily email with Triangle news, events, and headlines to help you get ready for the day. You can sign up at WRAL.com/newsletter.